Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre Harrell, I'll Be Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim, she was Andre's personal assistant. Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting? You want to know what they all had in common, though? They were all writing tell-all books. And I'll Be Sure was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma. Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything happened to him? There's too many coincidences. Fuck you, Honeycomb. We gonna get you and your little dog, too. Run as fast as Cassie did. Is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead.
The truth is out. Diddy's road to riches was paved with blood. The Bad Boy Records founder has finally come clean about the gruesome sacrifices he made to achieve his billionaire status, and it's enough to send chills down your spine. From mysterious deaths to devilish deals, Diddy's admission has left many wondering just how far he was willing to go for fame and fortune. So, what really happened on his journey to becoming a billionaire? And who or what did he sacrifice along the way? Stay tuned to find out. The notorious artist and music executive of the 90s has been involved in many conspiracies associated with murders. According to Forbes estimate 2022, P. Diddy was worth $900 million, which has significantly increased since. He is almost a billionaire, but at what cost? Well, he cost us the life and talent of all the hip-hop music legends. But most people don't know the extent of damage Puffy has single-handedly caused. One of the first sacrifices that were allegedly made by Diddy was Tupac Shakur. Tupac was and still is one of the most outstanding rappers the world had ever seen. Although there were many rumors here and there about Diddy being involved in the murder, but in a recent interview with Vlad TV, Keefe D, the major suspect in the case, disclosed some interesting facts.
There was supposed to be $1 million that Zip was supposed to bring back, but he ended up keeping the money and buying a nightclub with it.
Never.
For anything.
Nothing.
D went a step further and said that Diddy wanted both Tupac and Suge Knight dead, but things didn't work out completely as they planned. He confessed that his nephew, Baby Lane, pulled the trigger that took the rapper's life.
Someone from your car started shooting at Tupac and Suge.
Lane starts blasting. You say Suge looks over, he sees you. He looks right at.
This murder was like the final barrier which was destroyed, and there was no stopping him anymore. After the death of Tupac, Diddy was already planning the murder of Biggie Smalls, the lyrical genius. In a recent interview, Gene Deal quoted what Diddy said to him and his homies.
Something gotta change. I don't give a if Pac gotta die, Big gotta die, or Suge Knight go to jail. Something's gotta change.
And after the murder, Diddy wanted to erase his traces from the situation and ended up lying to Biggie's mom, Miss Wallace, when she asked him about Gene Deal. It was only possible for Gene to meet Miss Wallace to tell her the truth when his frat brother overheard her talking. Gene later revealed that Puffy knew he would tell Miss Wallace the truth, so he hid the fact that Gene was his bodyguard.
He knew that I was gonna tell Miss Wallace all what happened, because he know I exchanged that night.
Even with interviews and articles, Gene has been trying tirelessly to tell the world the truth about Diddy. He even wrote a book and was about to publish it when Diddy contacted the same publishing house, making a $1 million deal on the condition that they would drop Gene Deal's book. But not everyone who started working on the projects, including the uncovering of the truth, was as lucky as him. Recently, Jaguar Wright has come forward with new allegations against the talented director. She basically points out that every late member of the Uptown Records has met with accidents and died or nearly died. But nothing has ever happened to Diddy.
Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything happened to him? He must be.
She expresses that the situation is very sketchy to begin with. Besides, she pointed out that the unfortunate incidents only happened to the artists when they started writing truthful biographies of their lives. And the fans are right there with Jaguar on this. One commented, "Yep, I've been saying something isn't right about Diddy for years. There's probably a clause in your contract that's too small to read that states you either disappear or die when it reaches its end. Thank God Cassie finally had the good sense to leave and marry someone else." If we look into Al B. Sure's case, he was working on a documentary encompassing his life when all of a sudden he was in a coma. Al B. Sure had woken up recently and was in contact with Jaguar, and she said that she is just relieved and happy that they can still talk to each other over text because because Al is alive. Well, not all that were related to P. Diddy were as lucky as sure was. The victims of Puffy's cruelty, including Andre Harrell, founder of Uptown Records, died at the age of 59 due to a heart attack. He was the mainstream face of black lifestyle and culture. In an interview with Los Angeles Times in 1992, Andre summarized his career goal by saying, "My goal is to bring real black America, just as it is, not watered down, to people everywhere through music, through films, through everything we do." But sadly, the life force of black culture, Genius Rap, passed away before he could even achieve his goal. Diddy's greed also took the life of Heavy D, another senior founding member of Uptown Records. According to news coverage, he was said to have been found dead on his kitchen floor, and the cause of death also seems to be a heart attack. But his loved ones are still waiting to find out more, which has been covered behind the blinds. One of his fans paid him tribute, saying that the legend may have left us, but he will stay alive in our hearts. R.I.P. Heavy D, gone but not forgotten. An especially sharp fan remembered the incident when Puffy stole money from a charity event he himself hosted. "I remember when this happened. The event was oversold and the money raised for charity disappeared. Puffy, Jennifer, and Heavy D skated on. So sad for so many families lost so much that day. Thank you for bringing up the historical truth, as people put these icons on pedestals, but at the very base of them one can see they have no substance and are made of clay. Puff has always found a way to make money off one's misery. God bless all who survived this incident and his rhetoric and reckless ways." With all the sacrifices made by Diddy, we must not forget the untimely death of Kim Porter. The cause of death, according to the first coroner report, was pneumonia, but she was the longest working employee of Uptown Records, on top of being Diddy's personal assistant. Her death was further investigated and some surprising truths were revealed. Another coroner's report concluded that stated there was no known history of drug abuse or alcoholism and no signs of trauma. The report specified that if Porter had traveled to Africa before falling ill, she did not have any health complaints at the time she returned from her trip. Jaguar believes that Kim was poisoned, and she also hinted that the culprit was none other than Diddy himself.
They have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms, and
Fans are suspicious of the fashion model's untimely death even after all these years. As one of them commented, "There is something so weird about this." Another conceded by stating painfully obvious facts. "What was so crazy about it to me was, she had money, had the best Medicare and healthcare insurance, access to the best doctors, and if it was just simple pneumonia, she didn't have to die from that. I believe someone poisoned that woman, just like what happened to Pimp C." Another added to the facts, "Nobody is talking about the fact that her best friend Kim Lee just vanished after Kim Porter's death. She hasn't said one word. It is safe to infer that if Kim was poisoned, this fact increases the chances that other Uptown Record personnel were also poisoned. But as you might expect, a snake like Diddy leaves no trail. But unlike other artists, Eminem did not stay quiet at the untimely demise of Tupac. He wrote a diss song in which he clearly called out Diddy for killing Tupac. As you might imagine, Puffy's friend related his response to Eminem's diss by saying,
I think that last bar took it there with Puff. And I'm speculating here, but that was some shit.
Nothing to speculate about, nothing to talk about. Puff said it's in his hands.
But when the Diddy was asked about these accusations in an interview with The Breakfast Club, he refused to talk about it and brushed them off as utter nonsense.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother.
But his statement was not at all credible to the public. They believe it is the guilty conscience that is speaking. He did it. Everyone knows he did it. P. D has already confirmed it. That's why Puffy can't sleep at night and is so miserable. He has blood on his hands. That mess Bad Boy has going on with Death Row wasn't worth anyone dying over, and he knows it now that he's older. Unfortunately, nothing can bring Pac back. So it is what it is. That's it for today, folks. Until next time, goodbye.